query into the search interface. The search engine searches through its index database, the most relevant results, ranks them, and produces the results in an order form. So how was it able to have all this relevant data? It was because it already had a repository of this data. It was possible due to a web crawler, which is an automated software for pre-downloading of the data from the internet. So now, let us see the goal of our research work. So I would like to ask a question. What is the easiest and the quickest way today to access any information? Anybody?
Google.
Yeah, in general, internet, right? So, when you access information from the internet, either you can maintain an offline dump, or in simple terms, you could say you could download it for future reference, or you could always use the services of a search engine. Now, say you are a history student, or some kind of student whose data requirements are not very transient, as in the data you require from the internet doesn't change very often. So what you can do is you can have an offline dump or offline download of your data, and for that you can have softwares like HTTrack or even Apache Nudge, which is the most industry-ready crawler. All in all, faster web crawling can be a great hack for you. Or leave it. Yesterday I was hearing the session on disaster management, and I came to know that when people do sentimental analysis of the tweets, they crawl the data. So if the web crawling technique is faster, it will be helpful for them also. So forget everything. Even if you are a researcher and a developer in web crawling field, you need to crawl so much amount of data repetitively. For that, if you have a faster web crawling technique, it would be great for you. So, finally, in a nutshell, we want to save our system resources, and one way could be by faster URL, replicated URL detection in my web crawler. I'll be discussing later what this replicated URL detection means. So it will lead to faster web crawling. I'll be testing my results on Apache Nudge, which is the most industry-ready crawler with all the customizations and plugins possible in it. The existing technique is URL fetch time approach, and the technique I'm proposing is Bloom filter based approach. So first of all, let us see what is a Bloom filter actually. It is a probabilistic data structure which consists of m bits given by this formula, where n is the number of elements, p is the false positive rate, k is the number of hashes. So whenever I input a string, I hash it using k-hash functions, and whatever indexes I get, I toggle them to 1. So the good part here is we don't have any false negatives in this probabilistic data structure, only false positives, and it is very helpful for duplicate detection. It has been around for a long, but still I'm using it in my research work because when I researched on it, I found that there can be many more data which can be collected out of it, and a pattern and results can be given out of it. So before moving on to the experiments, let us see the architecture of web crawler. So we can ascertain where to fit in these Bloom filters into this architecture. It has 5 steps and 2 databases, as you can see, CrawlDB and FetcherQ. First of all, I'll discuss the databases. CrawlDB is a database to store the already discovered URLs in the current iteration. Now these URLs can already be crawled, or they are due to be crawled in this current iteration. FetcherQ, it's a priority queue wherein we store all the URLs to be fetched in the current iteration. Now coming to the injector phase, this is the initialization of a crawl. As in more popular terms, we say it provides a seed for the crawl. Next, we move on to the generator phase. In this, we pick up URLs from the CrawlDB and see which all have not been crawled, adding them to a list. In the update the crawl DB with the newly found outlinks. So replica detection is important in two cases, update phase and generate phase. In update phase, I need to remember what all URLs have already been crawled so that I don't add them again to crawl DB. And in generate phase, I have to have a fetch list of URLs to be crawled in the current iteration. So I need to know which URLs have already been crawled so that I don't crawl them again. So this is a web crawler in a nutshell. Let us see how we can apply this architecture to a sample web graph. It's given on the left side, and on the right side we have shown various crawling steps. Let us start our crawl from a seed URL A. When we parse it, we find the outlink B. In the next iteration, we parse B and we find C and D. Now, still in the next iteration, that is iteration number 3, when we download C and D and parse their contents, we find D, A and E as the outlinks. Now here the replica detection is important. D and A should not be crawled again, and they should not be added again to the crawl DB. And so if replica detection was not enabled here, the crawl would have continued for infinity, wasting our system resources as well as our time. And since here we have enabled replica detection, so we can we'll only crawl E, and our crawl will be exhaustive. Though in the real scenario, crawl is never exhaustive because of the enormous size of the web graph. So now let us see some approaches for replica detection. Brute force approach, URL fetch time approach, that's the existing approach in Apache Nutch. Bloom filter approach is the proposed approach. So brute force approach is basically consists of a database where we store all the already crawled URLs. Whenever a new URL comes in, we check for its presence by using a search algorithm in the given database. If it is found that, of course, it has already been crawled. Otherwise, it's a new URL. So here, the complexity is limited by the time complexity of the search algorithm used. Let us see the URL fetch time approach. In this, we have a fetch time associated with each URL. So in the generate phase, when we are generating a list of the URLs to be fetched in the current iteration, we check for its fetch time. If the fetch time is less than or equal to the current time, that means it is a new URL. So we will add it to the fetch list. Otherwise, we reject it. Now, once we have the fetch list, we'll download and parse our content. And then, when we update our crawl DB again, the fetch time of all the newly discovered URLs will be set to the current time according to the system clock. Now, in this, the crawl DB will be checked for all the outlinks. If the crawl DB already contains that outlink, then of course it has been crawled in the current iteration. So its fetch time will be modified to a time later than the current time. It's by default 30 days in case of Nutch. And for all the new URLs which have not been crawled, the fetch time will be set to current time. So in this case, this approach is all good, but it has the hazels of modifying fetch time again and again. And God forbid, if system clock time changes, then it could disrupt our crawl. So my technique is Bloom filter based technique. It introduces Bloom filter in two phases, generate phase and update phase. So when we start the crawl, we initialize a serialized Bloom filter. In the generator phase, we input it and input each URL from crawlDB. Check for its presence in Bloom filter. If it is present, it has already been crawled. So ignore it. Otherwise, add it to our fetch list for the current iteration, and after adding to the fetch list, add it to the Bloom filter also, because we don't want to crawl it again in the next iteration. So all good now. We have the fetch list, we pass it, and again now in the update phase, when we discover the outlinks, for each outlink we check if it is present in Bloom filter. If it is present, then we just update its status details like its signature and all. But if it is not present, we add it to the crawlDB and set its fetched. So basically, the algorithmic differences between the existing and the proposed technique are in case of inject, generate and update phase. In this we don't require any Bloom filter, and we use the subroutine should fetch based on URL fetch time. In update phase we have same approach for all the URLs which have already been crawled and which have not been crawled. While in this case we have different update procedure for both the categories of URL. So we'll see which approach is better according to the experiments. So the problem statement is that we'll do the entire postmortem of the Bloom-based approach by recording all the data available. So the key point of this research is that it has been tested on a real web crawling scenario by integrating Apache Nudge with Eclipse Luna IDE using Cygwin to create a pseudo Linux platform on Windows, and we have used Java also, as it's the language of Nudge. And further in Bloom filter, we have two kinds of hashes, Jenkins hash and Murmur hash. So now we have three techniques to be compared: Jenkins hash Bloom based approach, Murmur hash Bloom based approach, and URL fetch time approach. The parameters of the data we'll record is the time taken in generate phase, time taken in update phase, the false positive rate, the type of hash function, the size and the size of disk in bytes, the number of URLs retrieved per iteration, the percentage of this website crawl, and the size of CRC file, that is the cyclic redundancy check file required for error detection when transmitting files to the network. So the inferences out of the given parameters, how we draw them: we'll have an exhaustive crawl by modifying our crawler to crawl only the internal links. We'll do that by making changes in the XML file. And here I've shown the various experiments performed. The 5 kinds of experiments will be performed according to these parameters. We'll see them one by one. So, first of all, experiment 1. Here we'll have 5 website samples, and for each website sample we have 10 false positive rates as shown. We'll have a size of bit array versus size of Bloom file plot, and we'll have a parameter p, which is the inverse of the slope of this graph. And what we see is that it comes out to be approximately constant. So we can say that it is irrespective of host. Now here, 1 byte of a Bloom file is not exactly equal to 8. It is approximately equal to 8. So the next experiment is we'll compare the size of bit array and size of file in KB on disk. This is important to pre-handedly know that what is the size of Bloom filter which I'll be using in my crawl, and we'll find out that it's not it's a very memory efficient approach because it requires very less space. So x-axis has size of bit array, y-axis has size of Bloom file on disk, and what we obtain is a step